It is time for Hun Science again. Hun Science, part 2. Well, actually, it's part 3, and it's time for Hun Science on this channel. I am excited. I'm actually thrilled about this. I have some examples of Hun Science for you. And Hun Science is not real science. It is science from people in multi-level marketing companies. It is like me doing a Christina story time. You know, it will be a really bad story time, or Christina math, or Christina explains, where we're aware that my explanation and my math is not perfect. And the same is true for Hun Science. Those are people in multi-level marketing companies who want to convince us that the products they sell are superior and they have the science to prove it. But they don't, and it's really funny, and I'm going to react to this. Hello, by the way, I'm Christina. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Hun Science. I already did another Hun Science video and another video where a Monet rep explains to us why your hair is shedding and it's not hair loss, and why you're uneducated and why you're stupid. I will link all of these down below and also up here if you want to take a look. You can watch this video independently of the other videos, but I personally like Hun Science a lot. Now, if you would ask me, how do you recap the first Hun Science video you did where I reacted to different distributors, I would say let's take a look at a clip which is very much a recap of what happened in the former Hun Science video. It is from a Monet distributor who explains to us why dry shampoo is dangerous. Not Monet's. Monet's is safe, but other dry shampoo is dangerous.
Are you ready for a science experiment? I'm about to show you one. But first, do you use or have you ever used dry shampoo? Did you know that many dry shampoos on the market have very harmful ingredients in them? We're spraying them on our scalp and they're absorbing into our bloodstream. Ingredients like propane. So I'm gonna show you with fire how some dry shampoos ignite fire, but dry shampoos with healthy ingredients in them actually put the fire out. Are you ready? Here we go. Is that crazy or what? Make sure you're checking the ingredients on your dry shampoo. Really important.
My question typically is why? Why? Why do you do an experiment like this, where in this case a Monet Hun sprays dry shampoo into a flame where she knows that the dry shampoo has flammable propellants? What is the desired outcome? Those propellants are flammable. So the first 3 or 4 that she showed were from normal drugstore, I think known brands that also sell dry shampoo, and they use a propellant like butane or propane, and that is flammable when you come in contact with a flame. And then she uses the Monet product and the propellant is not flammable. Why are we doing this, and why are we surprised that then the candles, they burn? Are we really surprised about this? Yeah, duh. That is why this is called Hun Science, because it's not a great representation of science, but of Hun Science. And for the most part, it doesn't make any sense. But just quickly to recap this, I will link the actual video up here as well, where I speak in depth about this. Dry shampoos that are in a container, they have to be pushed out by a propellant. Some of those propellants can be flammable, like butane and protein, or isobutane. Those were the products that you showed first. So when the flammable propellant pushes up the product and you direct that towards a candle, there will be a flame. Yes, you will not extinguish the flame, but it is flammable. That's why there's a flame and the candle is up in flames. You get the gist. With Monet, there's also a dry shampoo in a can, but the propellant is non-flammable, and when you spray that onto a candle, then the stuff is not flammable. I think that is rather self-explanatory. But to make that conclusion, because one product is flammable and the other is not, I would say that is not something you have to worry about. Unless you do your hair and you use dry shampoo every single day in front of open fire, then yeah, you should be really worried because then everything will be on fire. So don't do your hair in front of open fire. But if that is not a topic for you, then you don't need to worry about that because a propellant is not something that is designed to seep up the oils on your scalp. It is something that will evaporate once it pushes the actual product out. So it's not necessarily something that is damaging to your health and to your scalp and to your hair because it will evaporate. It is gone. I explained that very much in depth with pictures and everything in the original Hun Science video that I posted. Just because Monate has a propellant that is not flammable doesn't mean that Monate's dry shampoo is non-toxic and is not bad for your hair, but all of the others are. Be aware of open flames, yes, but I would argue if you do your hair and if you style your hair regularly with dry shampoo in front of open flames, then you have other problems and then it's not necessarily about the dry shampoo that you use. So this experiment already doesn't make sense and it recaps the original video pretty well. The next video I want to show you is kind of an updated version of what we have seen before, but this time with hair oil, where, surprise, Monate Hun is testing out if hair oils are flammable. And she addresses in the caption why she thinks this is interesting. So this is kind of an updated version with potentially more sense than the first experiment. Let's go through the caption first and then we can watch the experiment. I hope you can still see me, by the way, because it's getting really dark out. It is really stormy, it is really windy, and it's going to start to rain. And if I'm sitting here and it looks like I'm in a dungeon, I promise you I'm not. I'm in a well-lit room, but it doesn't transform on this video, so apologies about that. But as long as you can see the experiments, I think we're good. So the text on this experiment says, is your hair oil flammable? If the second or third ingredient is dimethicone, then odds are it is. Why is this a problem? So we're getting a solution to a question. I like that. Well, when you use hot tools on plastic, it melts and basically laminates your hair. As you can see, the Rejuvenique oil is not flammable. This oil has such a small molecular structure that it doesn't lay on top of the hair. It actually penetrates all three layers, strengthens the hair strand, and heals the scalp. If you are ready to nourish your hair instead of laminate it, message me for a discount code. Healthy Hair Care Monate Hair. Rejuvenique oil is Monate's top seller. It is a pricey hair oil with over $100. And that is really the product that they push all the time. And they try to convince us that it is so much better than regular hair oils on the market that are out there. It has all natural ingredients. It's the best thing you can ever do. It is totally worth the price. And in this case, she says that the Rejuvenique oil is non-flammable, and it is good that it's not, because if you use hot tools like a curler or like a styling iron, like a flattening iron, it will be beneficial for you to use a hair oil that already seeps into your hair, because that means it will not laminate and it will not leave your hair disgusting or broken. So that is her setup. There's more information, at least, than is for the first experiment, but let's take a look at this and then I will share my ideas. I will have to exchange the music, unfortunately, but it's really catchy. Not so much the experiment, but as you can see, she poured argan oil on one of the cotton swabs. I think the one in the middle was blank, which is to expect that goes up in flames if you just light up a cotton swab, but okay. And then also the Rejuvenique oil. The Rejuvenique oil cotton swab didn't catch fire, the others two did. And her claim now is that if you use normal hair oils that have flammable ingredients, you will damage your hair when you style your hair with hot tools. Yeah, surprise! Monate's hair oil does not burn. Do you know what else does not burn? My hair oil. That is not from Monat. In the original video that I posted about Hun Science, I also tested that on my very own hair oil, and it is also not flammable. I recreated a nonsensical experiment from a Monat Hun. I put that onto my hair straightener, and mine didn't catch fire and it didn't smoke as well. So it looks like my hair oil is just as superior as Monat's. Of course, take a look at the ingredients. That is true for dry shampoo as well as for hair oil or for other products. If you would like to avoid certain products, absolutely. But Monat is not the height of superiority, because I bet with you, if I would be doing this experiments now, setting my hair oil on fire, it would do the very same as Monat did. It doesn't catch fire. Some hair oils have different ingredients. That doesn't mean necessarily that they're better or that they're worse because they catch fire when you light them on fire. That's not a sign of superiority, but it is the Monat Huns that are obsessed with this narrative that Monat products are so superior, when the only people who say that Monat products are superior is Monat and the Monat Huns. Some hair oils, like mine or Monat's, they do not burn and they do not smoke when you put them on a hot tool. That is great. My question though is, why does it matter? I mean, don't light your hair on fire. That's a given, I would say. But why does it matter if your hair oil goes up in flames? A hair oil is typically used as a finisher to give you more softness, to give you more hydration, and also to give you more shine. As somebody who has clearly very curly and very frizzy hair, very dry hair, I like hair oil a lot, and I also like to use that as a finisher. And that's the essential thing. You're not supposed to use a hair oil. No hair oil, whether it is Monat's hair oil or mine that also doesn't catch fire, or others, before you use a hot tool. Do not use hair oil before you curl or before you straighten your hair. That is a finishing touch that you do afterwards, so it doesn't matter. You will very likely comb through your hair before you style it again, before you use hot tools again, so it is not relevant if it catches fire or not. Like I said, don't set your hair on fire. That's tip number one. But use hair oil as a finisher. Please do not put Monat hair oil onto your hair and then style your hair, because that can be damaging as well. The same is true if you style your hair while it is still wet and you want to curl it. Do not do that. And if you use oil as a hair treatment or as a hair mask, so you massage it into your scalp, for example, you let it sit there. That can also be quite beneficial and nice if you have dry hair. Then you will wash it out. You will wash it out with shampoo and conditioner, potentially a mask, and then you don't have the problem of lighting your hair oil on fire either. So this experiment, although at first glance there is more information than the first experiment I showed you in this video, doesn't make more sense. Don't use a hair oil before you style your hair. Period. And yes, pay attention to the ingredients and products if that is important to you. There are various products out there that if you recreate this nonsensical experiment, your hair oil will likely not catch fire. You don't need to use an MLM product. You do not need to use a hair oil that costs $110 retail to not light your hair on fire. Let's move away from the Monat madness and let's move over to the Kangen or enagic madness, if you will. Let's take a look at two experiments.
Watch what happens when I wash these strawberries in 11.5 Kangen water. Pesticides, anyone?
I will also continue to play them here on the side so that you can see them, because they're rather short experiments. The company that we're talking about here is enagic. Enagic is the MLM that sells water filters, water ionizers you can purchase for thousands of dollars. It's one of the pricey multi-level marketing products, and these create Kangen water. So this is Enagic as the company, but the water is Kangen water. You might have heard about that before. In the end, it is alkaline water, meaning basic as opposed to acidic. Water that is alkaline has a greater pH level than 7. The pH level can vary from 0, which means very acidic, up to 14, which is very alkaline. In this case, Kangen, or in the Japanese sense, Kangen means back to basics, and Kangen operates with this a lot by claiming that the superior alkaline Kangen water will transform your body into its natural alkaline state. That is what they also advertise this with on their website. They pretty much claim that if something is alkaline, it is good for you, when on the other side something is acidic, it is bad for you. But that is not true. The context really matters here. The inside of your stomach is very acidic because it needs to break down food and drink and whatever arrives there. And in that case, it is rather beneficial that it is acidic. Now you have a lining in your stomach that prevents the acidic pH level to dissolve into the surrounding areas. That could be quite dangerous. Or if you have acid reflux, then you can also tell when you don't have to throw up and you burp these things up. It's not very nice. It's not very helpful. And that can also be very damaging to the organs. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a professional in this field, but this is what I remember from regular school education. I mean, yeah, go German school system. I'm not a chemist, and if you have a more professional terminology, then please feel free and comment that in the comment section down below if you want to add something to this. There are instances where it is good if something is alkaline, if something is basic, and if something is acidic. It's a very blatant general statement to say that things are good when they're alkaline and they're good for your health, whereas when they're not, they're really bad. That is simply not true. So circumstances matter, and it is not true when you see claims that Kangen or Enagic's Kangen water is more healthy and will prolong your life and will cure illnesses or diseases because their water is superior to tap or to bottled water. It is just alkaline water, which is higher in pH as opposed to your tap water. There is no proof that any of these claims you might have seen from Kangen Huns, that is true. There is simply no scientific proof out there that Kangen water or alkaline water is more beneficial than more basic water with a lower pH level. The two videos I showed you and that I will continue to show you here on the side, they essentially have the same point. They both work with Kangen water. You have fruit like strawberries or tomatoes. And yes, botanically speaking, tomatoes are fruit once again. Yay. German education system, in this case, thank you to my biology teacher who hammered that into our minds. You soak them in Kangen water, in alkaline water with a pH of 11 and 11.5, and you see what happens. And we can see that the Kangen water is darker in both cases and that the normal tap water is clear. According to the Kangen distributors that want to sell us their Kangen water machines for thousands of euros, pounds, and dollars, the Kangen water has removed all pesticides from the food, whereas the normal tap water has not. First of all, just as starters, once again, basic chemistry, please do not drink alkaline water with a pH of 11 or 11.5. That could actually be damaging, and that could actually damage tissue. That is way too alkaline for most people to consume if you consider that tap water has a pH level of 7. Now, while for most people it is likely that alkaline water will not damage them, or drinking alkaline water will not damage them, but 11 and 11.5 is super high. And there is no proof that drinking water that is that alkaline is actually beneficial either. The normal pH level of tap water is 7. Anything above is considered alkaline, and anything below is considered more acidic. It is advisable to wash your fruits and your vegetable also from organic sources before you consume them, and it is important to remove dirt and also potential pesticides. And also other pollutants from the shell, but only about 50% of pesticides are on the actual shell, and you can easily wash those off. That is not a huge deal, but the other 50% of potential pesticides and contaminants, they might be within the fruit, and you will not be able to just wash those off with neither type of water, so they cannot be removed. And from a hygienic point, it is of course important to be hygienic with your fruit before you eat them, and also with your vegetables. That is important. But softer fruit like strawberries, for example, it is not advisable to soak them in water for long either way, because they will get really mushy and they might lose a lot of their taste. In this case, you should put fruit like strawberries or also raspberries in a sifter and then soak them with a little bit of water. Don't let them sit in there for too long. Get rid of it, and then also maybe rub them with a soft touch, because they can get really quickly really mushy, and it's very likely that these are not yummy to eat. In this case, it is advisable to clean strawberries quickly but thoroughly, but don't let them soak in there. There are studies that indicate that the pH level of water can actually have an effect on the stability of pesticides, and some studies indicate that. I will link some below if you want to check those out. I also found a lot of German ones. I will not link these, but if you want to Google that, I would say start your own research. Here's an example of what I found. Some pesticides, particularly carbamate and organophosphate insecticides, undergo a chemical reaction in the presence of alkaline water. Water has a pH value greater than 7, and the reaction is known as alkaline hydrolysis, and it reduces the effectiveness of the pesticide's active ingredients. Apologies if I didn't pronounce it correctly in English. This is the effects of water pH on the stability of pesticide study from MU Extension. This is the University of Missouri, for example. We'll link the study below. This study, among others, indicates that if you use water with a higher pH level, that you're able to remove more pesticides from fruit. The study goes a little bit into a different direction as well, but if you have alkaline water, you could potentially clean the fruit and the vegetables that you use better and remove potential contaminants from this easier than you could with tap water. From what I could find, there's no indication that alkaline water is able to reduce the pollution and the contaminants within the fruit under the shell, but it is a type of water that can make it easier to clean the outer shell of the fruit and of the vegetables that you want to consume. Now, mind you, all of these studies speak about alkaline water in general. They don't speak about Kangen water. So you could do this with alkaline water in general if you want to wash the produce, if you want to be more careful. That doesn't have to be Kangen water. Alkaline water is just water with a higher pH level, and you do not need Kangen water. You can also pretty much do that yourself, or you could use other filter machines. There is no proof that this water is more beneficial if you drink it, but it could have a positive beneficial aspect if you want to wash your fruit and your vegetable. Now, does it make sense to spend thousands of dollars on water that is proven to do nothing for you health-wise, other than it might help you to remove pesticides from produce? I think it's not, and you're also ultimately supporting a multi-level marketing business. That is something I personally wouldn't do. But alkaline water can be helpful if you want to be more thorough about washing your produce, at least on the outer shell. But like I said, the study says it's about alkaline water. It is not about Kangen water. And because it's alkaline water, it has a different reaction. It can have a different effect on the pollutants in fruit. Alkaline water, just to be clear, is not more hydrating. It does not stop the process of aging. It does not cure illnesses. It does not cure diseases. There is no proof that alkaline water, if you drink it, has any health benefits or more health benefits than regular water. Those were really pricey experiments with Kangen water filters, ionizers that pretty much just produce more alkaline water. No need to buy Kangen machines to do that. The last video is also from a Monetan. Apologies that the Monetans are so overly prominent, but they're really doing the weirdest stuff, the weirdest experiments. In the last video, I also included experiments from Young Living and doTERRA, and this time from Kangen, but there's a ton of content available where Monetans do weird stuff. but there's not that much available from other MLMs. That is why Monat really does take the lead here. But let's take a look at the last video, and it's about shampoo.
Hey guys, Carolyn from Monat. How's it going? So one thing I really like about our products is when they come to us brand new, first of all, they have a 12-month shelf life. So it's really important to note when you buy your products because they are naturally based and they last for 12 months. But the other cool thing I love is that each of our shampoos and conditioners are completely sealed with these little tags. So when you go into the department stores, I used to notice I would unscrew the tap, or the top rather, and it would be wide open. But with these, they're sealed. So a sealed bottle is extremely important because it means that it came right from the company. It hasn't been tampered with. So it's best to get your products from a consultant because they'll come from the company sealed. The other thing is the conditioners. A lot of people go to take the top off, but you only take the top off for the initial time because, again, you should have a seal under that top, right? So you're going to pull the seal off. Alrighty, and then you put the cap back on. This cap's not going to come off again. This cap, to access the conditioner, it's called a click cap, right? So it's a quarter turn, right? Very gentle, quarter turn. This hole will open up. And then what you do is you squeeze up from the bottom up and you just take a small amount of product there. And then when you're done, you're going to click it back. So see that? So it's a quarter turn. So the only time you're going to take the actual top off is to get the seal off. Otherwise, you're using it like this. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.
The title of this video is Monat Safe. The shampoo and conditioners should always be sealed. Should they? Should they? Should they always be sealed? Let's talk about this. According to her, Monat products are yet again superior and you should get them right from the distributor because they're being shipped to you and you know that they're not tampered with and their bottles are sealed. That is something that doesn't typically happen if you take a look at shampoo or conditioner or certain products in stores, but Monat is so much better. That's why they're sealing their stuff. And then she has this long-ass explanation about how to use a conditioner. I'm not even going to go into this, but let's talk about the sealing of those products. I would argue Monat products are so pricey. They're between 30, 40, or sometimes even $50 just for the regular shampoos, that they should be sealed 30 times with real gold. Otherwise, the products are not worth the money. Monat sealing their shampoos and conditioners is not a sign of superiority. There is a reason why those products do not have to be sealed according to the European Union, according to the federal government here in Germany, and also according to the United States. As cited by the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the only cosmetics that require tamper-evident sealing are liquid, oral hygiene products, and all cosmetic vaginal products. So unless you want to drink the shampoo or put it in your you probably do not need the seal. That is the idea behind this. Why are shampoo bottles not sealed? When you've purchased shampoo in the past, online or in store, you may have noticed that there is no tamper-proof seal. The same applies to conditioners and most other cosmetic and hygienic products. There are several reasons why shampoo bottles don't come sealed. This article will review all of the reasons why this is the case, and surprise, there is a lot more to it than the customer's sniff test. Shampoo bottles aren't sealed for several reasons. Generally, tamper seals are only on products that could prove to be harmful if tampered with. Certain medications, food items, and some cosmetics come with a tamper-proof seal in place. As cited by the FDA, the only cosmetics that require tamper-evident sealing are liquid oral hygiene products and all cosmetic vaginal product. Otherwise, it is fair game. There is no current federal law in place that requires shampoo to be tamper-proof sealed. Primary reason shampoo bottles aren't sealed is that the product is not ingested and should only be used externally. Sure, someone could be rude and add hair dye, nair, or some other thing in the hair wash beforehand. However, these aren't life-threatening. Cruel? Yes. Unusual? Definitely. poisonous? No. We should also add that the lack of a seal allows consumers to sniff the product. It may sound odd, but tons of folk out there check the scent of body washes and hair products prior to purchasing. After all, you don't want to smell like coconut when your goal is vanilla. That is very true. That is also very true for me because I love vanilla and I despise coconut scented things. So it is a goal of mine to also not purchase something that is secretly smelly like coconut. Unless you ingest the food, or it is a cosmetic product that you use, for example, very closely to your eye, or it is a vaginal product in some way, shape, or form, they do not need to be sealed, and that makes sense. Now, it might give you a certain amount of security if your bottles are also sealed, and in that case, there are brands out there who do that as well, but sealing a bottle is an additional point of cost, and if you don't have to do it, I would argue most companies do not seal their products. Monat products can be tampered with. And I would argue that if there are products available in store that have been poisoned and they have a recall, I personally would trust those companies more who consistently put out information when they do a real recall, not because of poisoning or because of people trying to blackmail the company by tampering with certain products because they want to endanger the public, as it has happened in the past. But I would personally rather trust a legitimate company that then has to recall a product than a multi-level marketing company that is involved in allegedly shady businesses, that has still a lot of lawsuits out there, and with distributors who many times do not act very professionally, as the Monat distributors, for example, have done when the topic of lawsuits against Monat because of alleged hair loss and scalp sores. Then in that case, I would say I would rather trust that public company that does not seal their products than an MLM that has shown a track record of bad behavior, also from the distributor side when there were customer complaints. Now, if it is important for you that you want to purchase products that are sealed, you can go to the more higher priced brands and do that as well. My Kerastase product that I'm using at the moment, for example, among others, they were sealed. So it's not true that none of the companies are sealed, but you might need to look out for that. Like I said, Monat products can also be tampered with. So if somebody wants to play a joke on you, or if they want to add something and it's not funny, I'm not saying, I don't suggest do this, but you can tamper and you can play with all of the products. You could just ingest that at a certain spot, or if somebody wants to play a prank, they could just ingest that somewhere else in a different spot that is not in the seal, or they could remove the seal and then glue the seal down, or they could add something to your product once you've already removed the seal and it is in your home. Weird thought processes that I'm going through here, I get it. But what I'm saying is Monat is not more superior, and Monat products are not more safe because their bottles are sealed. Monat products are so freakishly overpriced, they should be sealed 30 times. So unless you want to drink Monat shampoo or you want to shove it up your hoo-ha, which two things I would not recommend whatsoever, I wouldn't be too worried about other products not being sealed. That's a weird way to end a video, I have to give it to you, but that's how we're doing it over here. So this was Hun Science number 2, actually number 3, and I have so much more stuff. I still have an entire folder full with Hun Science videos. If you're interested in more videos, please let me know. I do like these. They're weird, they're not real science, they're like Christina's science, they're all over the place, and they prove nothing. I'm all here for it. So if you're interested in more Hun Science videos, then please let me know. I for sure have more content available that I could react to, that I could make a video about. If you have Hun Science content you would like to share with me, you can upload that to your Google Drive and then share that with my email. It is always in the description box below, or you can also message me on Instagram, also linked down below, and then I'm happy to include that content in the next Hun Science video as well, hopefully with more light. Hopefully then you can see me better, but I'm working with what I got. So if you have something you would like to share with me, then please feel free to do so. Or if you have some general thoughts about Hun Science, you can share those with me as well. If you like these types of videos, then please consider subscribing. If you like this specific one, then please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to let me know something about a specific Hun Science experiment, potential content to react to in the future, then please do so in the comment section down below. And if you like these types of videos, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, Tschüss!